Hey everyone, Brendan Snyder here. How are you? Thank you so much for joining me and welcome to another episode of Random CDs, Random Facts. So this is where I like to go around my collection, and I've got over 11,000 CDs. The ones that are out here on this floor are about 4,500, but I'm going to try to hit up some different areas that I haven't hit up before. And I'm going to simply go up to these areas. I'll blindfold myself, reach out and pick one, and we'll talk about it. We'll cover some random facts on it and things of that nature. Just whatever comes to mind, we'll have a little bit of fun with it. Before we get started though, if you're new to my channel and you haven't already hit the subscribe button, please do. Also leave a comment, hit like. All those things help support my channel. I'd greatly appreciate it. And of course, as an added bonus, by subscribing, you'll be able to stay up to date on really cool videos just like this, Random CDs, Random Facts. Now, I'm going to get repositioned here so that we can do this and we'll get going. All right, so I'm reset up over in my rock section. I've also got glam metal and heavy metal and stuff like that. We'll hit up some different areas, but we're going to start here. So I'm simply just going to blindfold myself and go right in. Let's see what we got. All right, first one up, Hooters, Nervous Night. New wave band out of the 80s. Most probably famous for their song "And We Danced" as well as All the Zombies, but you know, when I was growing up and I saw the title Hooters, I thought that had to do with like the restaurant chain or you know, women's breasts, that sort of a thing. And I kind of like that as the title better, the name better, but it's actually not it. They play, or one of the guys plays a keyboard thing that you blow into that was known as a Hooter. So they were the Hooters and they got that name. But kind of like the way they would do covers sometimes like this in the 80s, where we've got these guys up front and you can see kind of more darkly there's two guys in the back, and then we flip over and then those guys are illuminated and the other guys are in shadow. Cheap Trick would do that a lot. These guys did it here. I always felt bad for the two guys that got stuck on the back side of an album versus the front side of an album, but I don't know that that made any difference to these guys or not, or had any particular rationale as to who made a front cover versus a back cover, that sort of a thing like that. But I have to say that this is an album I can pull out anytime and play no matter what. I like it from start to finish. Can't say it as much about the rest of the albums I do like that they put out. They put out a number of them, still going today in fact, but those two songs, "And We Danced," absolute classic, and All You Zombies, absolutely love as well. But Day by Day, I mean, just there are so many great tracks on this album. If you're not familiar with the Hooters but you like 80s new wave, check this out here. All right, let's do one more in this area before we move on. I didn't hit anything. All right. Oh, I like this one. Flying Colors. If you guys are familiar with them, this has one of my favorite guitar players, Steve Morse, who from the Dixie Dregs, Deep Purple, Kansas, doing this. But we've also got Casey McPherson, Neil Morse in here from Spock's Beard, Dave LaRue also from Steve Morse Band, and Mike Portnoy of Dream Theater. Very good stuff. I guess you know, put it alongside, you know, things with prog and all of that, as all those guys really come from those sorts of bands. But it's a little bit more than that. I mean, it's a melodic rock sort of prog, but it's also got virtuosity and stuff within it. And Steve Morse just is outstanding on this. If you like the stuff that he's doing with Deep Purple and so forth, definitely a very cool thing here. I also would just pull out their second and third album are outstanding. But this is the debut album here, and they've got 3 albums, so definitely worth checking out. As you can see, I've repositioned myself here. I'm actually in the glam metal section, which is one of my favorite genres. I know a lot of you guys like it too, so let's go ahead and see what we can come up with here. Oh, I love this one. Contraband. I don't know if I've covered this one or not. I know I've covered it in some other things for sure, glam metal gyms and stuff like that, but this was a super group right at the end of the glam metal movement, 1991. As the cover shows on here, LA Guns, Vixen, Michael Schenker Group, Shark Island, and Rat. So got somebody from all those different lineups. Tracy Guns from LA Guns, Cher Peterson from Vixen, Bobby Blotzer of Rat, lead vocalist from Shark Island, Richard Black, and Michael Schenker there. This album is one of my all-time favorites from that era and that genre of music. It just didn't, unfortunately, get the right push and everything, and being at the tail end of everything, couldn't do it. But what was cool is there's some great cover songs that are on here, some good originals. In fact, they even do a redo of a song from Shark Island on here. But God, if you like any of those different members, this is one for you guys to check out. And let's do another one. All right, what do we get? DAD, I think, which stood for originally Disneyland After Dark. And they've gone through different ways of doing it with the hyphens between it, the periods, things like that. And they're still going on today. Been around for a long time. I actually knew them from earlier albums that were part of the glam metal thing. These two here, Sleeping My Day Away off of this album is where I knew them from. And this album here, Bad Craziness, was another good one. But these were like 90 and 91 kind of a thing. This is one of the later era ones. In fact, 2008 on it, still sounding as good as they did from back in the day. So if you liked either of these albums here, the rest of their stuff is very good, including this one, which is simply called Philosophy. And the song House of Fun was the single that came off. I won't say it was a big hit or anything of that nature, but good stuff. Cargo Records, DAD though, definitely check them out if you're unfamiliar. If you're looking for a great glam metal band from back in the day, DAD is a good one. Well, let's try and go a little bit lower here and see what we get. If I get on one, right? All right, what do we hit? Oh, this is a good one. Great White, live in London. This is a Japanese only release that I got a hold of. I'm trying to see the year, 1991. So this was recorded during their last big album, Hooked, which is my favorite of their albums. But this is 7 tracks on it. It's got Move It, Heart the Hunter, On Your Knees, a good early track, House of Broken Love, Face the Day, All Over Now, and Once Bitten, Twice Shy. But very cool. They put out a lot of cool Japanese released EPs and live albums and things. If you're looking for more stuff from Great White, there's some cool stuff you can track down like this that's out there. But yeah, look at that. I always loved that shark logo playing the guitar kind of a thing. I wish the guys would patch things up between original singer Jack Russell and the rest of the guys and go out and do some proper shows. But of the two lineups, I really like Jack Russell's version of Great White, which actually has Tony Montana in there. So there's 2 guys over there that are from the original lineup, or well, not the original, but the heyday era of the band. And then you've got the other guys over there, which have a couple guys from the heyday and so forth. So kind of competing, but Great White from back in the day, so very good. All right, so I've repositioned myself into my metal section here. So let's see what we can find here and get this going. All right, so a very beast of for DO2. Not as interesting as pulling off a brand new but a new studio album of sorts. But we do have this, and I like this because it's got later era Dio tracks on it. So Killing the Dragon, Push, Along Came a Spider, Fever Dreams. So if you've got the original very beast of, which I don't know if I don't have it sitting right here, but this was a nice one of that. What was also cool about this is there's some bonus tracks that are on here. Metal Will Never Die and The Prisoner of Paradise. So a few extra things on here that you couldn't get in other places. This Is Your Life, stuff like that. Giving you a little bit of everything. This came out in 2012, so it's been a while now, 13 years since this has been out. Maybe we'll get another one. They have actually done one that has spanned his whole career, but a lot of these things are import versions, and I'd love to see Rhino Records, a really great reissue label who also does cool compilations and stuff like that, do a proper Dio compilation single disc that covers his whole career. But then, you know, what are you going to leave out? And, you know, a lot of the later era stuff I think was really, really good. So totally deserving to have this best of collection here. It also featured the song Electra, which was the last song recorded, which was going to be part of another concept album that never got completed because he passed away. So they did put that on here. So as I said, get some cool stuff like that. And I've relocated again, and I'm actually outside of the music room, which you can see behind me there, but back in front of the original Wall of Wonder with the 800 CDs that I started with before building that music room. So let's see what we can find in this one. Oh, this is a really one that's sort of apropos based on everything that's going on right now. Joe Perry Project, he's back out on the road. He's got Gary Cherone singing for him from Extreme. He's reissuing his 2018 album, Switzerland Manifesto, but he's going to call it Mark II, which will feature some new vocalists like Gary Cherone and Chris Robinson of the Black Crowes. 6 new studio recordings as part of that, and some alternate versions of other tracks. But this here, an absolutely stellar of an album, should have been huge. Should have been as big as Aerosmith. It's got the song Let the Music Do the Talking, which Aerosmith would re-record on the Done with Mirrors album. And I actually still like the Joe Perry Project version better than the Aerosmith one. I don't know why. Maybe it's just because I actually knew the Joe Perry Project version first before that. But I love this. I love the Joe Perry Project, all the different ones, the 3 different albums that he did. All of them are fantastic. If you've never checked out the Joe Perry Project, but you love Aerosmith, do check these out. Okay, let's do one more before we wrap things up here. I didn't quite get one. There we go. Sweet FA, Temptation, really great, lesser known glam metal band. So this Wall of Wonder has a little bit of everything in it, unlike out there where I've actually broken it down via genre. So that's why we can get some straight up rock next to some glam metal in here. But Sweet FA, Temptation was the second studio album by the band. Their first album, which is absolutely smoking, called Stick to Your Guns, Stick to Your Guns. It's a little hard for me to read there. If you don't know this one is absolutely outstanding. MCA Records release. And then this one here, which was a Japanese only release. And that was what happened with a lot of these bands, where they made that one major label one, and then unfortunately grunge hit and everything died off. And over in Japan and in the European countries and stuff, it lingered on a little bit longer. And so there was a lot of bands that got to make that second album, but it only came out over there. Sweet FA was one of those bands. But this first one was a much heavier album than what this became, which was a little more kind of funky sounding than the hard rock sound of the debut. But great stuff. Definitely recommend some Sweet FA. All right, so back where it all started, we ended up doing 8 different ones here. That was partly because I wasn't sure if a couple of these I had covered in previous episodes. You know, I'm doing it randomly and I'm doing it blindfolded, but just by position of where I sit and what is at arm's length, sometimes I hit on ones I've already done, and I don't want to do that. So I thought I'd throw in a few extras just in case, in particular that Contraband. But we got the Hooters, Nervous Night, some new wave stuff. We got Flying Colors debut album, prog rock, Contraband self-titled supergroup album, glam metal, really good. Like I said, I wasn't sure if I'd done that one before, so I wanted to throw a few extra in. DAD, another great glam metal band. The album is called Philosophy, Monster Philosophy, in fact. This one, which is super good, live in London from Great White, Japanese EP release. We got some metal in there with Dio, the Very Beast of, Volume 2, covering the later era of the band. And then we got Joe Perry Project, Let the Music Do the Talking, some just absolute straight up good rock and roll. Can't go wrong with that. And topping it off with one more glam metal release, Sweet FA, Temptation. Love this stuff. Go get it. All right. Hopefully you enjoyed those and maybe, gave you some inspiration to go check out some of the stuff that's in your collection. Maybe you haven't seen for a long time. Maybe search it out to go pick it up, and or just to go into your own collection, do a random swiping of things and give a listen to those things. I always find that these episodes send me off on different musical directions, so hopefully they do to you too as well. All right, everyone, take care, have a good one, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.